Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the ongoing conflicts around the world and the impact they have on global stability. From the streets of Baghdad to remote villages in Africa, the human cost of these conflicts is staggering. Millions have been displaced, economies shattered, and a generation scarred by violence. We'll examine the roots of these conflicts, the geopolitical forces at play, and the human toll they've taken. This isn't just about headlines, it's about real people caught in the crossfire. The Middle East and North Africa are tragically synonymous with conflict. For decades, this region has been a tinderbox, with over 45 armed conflicts raging within its borders. Syria, a nation once brimming with ancient history, is now a horrifying testament to the brutality of civil war. Yemen, facing a humanitarian crisis of unimaginable proportions, is teetering on the brink. Libya, struggling to rebuild after the fall of Gaddafi, remains mired in chaos and violence. And Iraq, scarred by decades of war and instability, continues to grapple with sectarian violence and the rise of extremist groups. The human cost is immeasurable, the future uncertain. Over 35 armed conflicts plague the African continent, turning hopes for a brighter future into a daily struggle for survival. The Democratic Republic of Congo, rich in resources but plagued by corruption, continues to be ravaged by violence and exploitation. Ethiopia, grappling with internal strife and ethnic tensions, faces a humanitarian crisis of immense proportions. Mali, battling both jihadist insurgencies and political instability, struggles to find peace. And Somalia, still reeling from decades of civil war, remains vulnerable to famine, drought, and the threat of terrorism. The stories of resilience are overshadowed by the sheer scale of human suffering. From the mountains of Afghanistan to the jungles of Southeast Asia, Asia faces a complex web of 21 armed conflicts that threaten its stability and prosperity. Afghanistan, still reeling from decades of war and the Taliban's resurgence, faces an uncertain future. India grapples with internal conflicts in Kashmir and the northeast, testing its social fabric. Myanmar's brutal crackdown on the Rohingya Muslims has sparked a humanitarian crisis and international condemnation. And in the Philippines, the fight against extremist groups continues to claim lives and displace communities. The economic and social consequences are far-reaching, impacting regional stability and global security. Even Europe, a continent that has long sought to distance itself from war, isn't immune to the scourge of conflict. 7 ongoing armed conflicts from Eastern Europe to the Caucasus shatter the illusion of lasting peace. The conflict in Ukraine, fueled by geopolitical tensions and territorial disputes, has destabilized the region and sparked fears of a wider war. Russia's actions in Ukraine have drawn international condemnation and triggered a new era of mistrust. And in Armenia, the conflict with Azerbaijan over the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh continues to simmer, threatening to erupt into renewed violence. These conflicts are stark reminders that peace is fragile and must be constantly nurtured. While often overshadowed by other global hotspots, Latin America faces its own set of challenges, with 6 non-international armed conflicts tearing at the social fabric of the region. In Mexico, the ongoing drug war continues to claim thousands of lives each year, fueling a cycle of violence and corruption that has left many communities living in fear. Colombia, despite recent progress in its peace process, still grapples with the legacy of its decades-long civil conflict, as armed groups vie for control and communities struggle to rebuild their lives. These conflicts, though often underreported, have a devastating impact on local communities, displacing families, undermining the rule of law, and hindering economic development. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates on global issues. The conflicts we've discussed today are complex and deeply rooted, with no easy solutions. But one thing is clear: the human cost is simply too high. We must demand accountability from those who perpetrate violence, support efforts to build peace and reconciliation, and work tirelessly to create a world where dialogue and diplomacy prevail over bombs and bullets. The path to peace is long and arduous, but it's a journey we must take together.